How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just wanted to come on here for a while and give my review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite from 3 nights ago, which was November 2nd, 2022. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match 1, it was Jay Lethal versus Darby Allin. That was a great match. But the ending to it, Jay Lethal went over with the lethal injection. Now, before the match, as Darby Allin was already out in the ring, and, well, Jay Lethal was coming down to the ring, and a brawl ensued between Jay Lethal and Darby Allin, and they were beating the shit out of each other and everything. That was cool. That was before the match, by the way. And after the match, well, during the match, a guy dressed up like Sting attacked Darby Allin and helped Jay Lethal win. Well, after the match, as Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh were in the ring, the guy dressed up like Sting came into the ring, and the guy was unmasked, and it was revealed to be Cole Carter. So, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and Cole Carter celebrated Jay Lethal's victory. And as that was going on, Sting's music hit. So, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and Cole Carter were distracted outside the ring. And as Darby Allin stood up for a while, and was standing for a while, Jeff Jarrett appeared from behind, turned Darby Allin around, and Jeff Jarrett hit Darby Allin over the head with his guitar and laid him out. And then Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and Cole Carter came back into the ring. Jeff Jarrett got on the microphone and cut a promo talking about how Darby Allin worships his weakness, and talked about how Sting was his weakness and everything. And Jeff Jarrett was talking about how he's been all over the world in the wrestling business and how his family has been in the business since 1946, and talked about how his grandmother and his father have left their fingerprints on AEW and everything. And Jeff Jarrett was talking about how he's arrived in AEW and how the commentators, the producers, and everyone in the AEW locker room, and even the AEW roster, he's going to put them in body bags as he goes through the place and everything. That was cool. But after Jeff Jarrett cut his promo, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and Cole Carter celebrated and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. Match 2, it was Jon Moxley versus Lee Moriarty in an AEW title eliminator match. That was a great match. But the ending to it, Jon Moxley went over with the cross arm breaker. Now, after the match, Ethan Page came down to the ring and attacked Jon Moxley with a big boot and laid him out. And then the Firm, which are Stokely Hathaway, Ethan Page, and Lee Moriarty, left the ring and went backstage, while Jon Moxley was laid out and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. Match 3, it was Chris Jericho versus Colt Cabana for the Ring of Honor World title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Chris Jericho went over and retained the Ring of Honor World title with the Code Breaker. Now, before the match, the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, and Daniel Garcia, came down to the ring and Chris Jericho cut a promo talking about how he's going to bury Ring of Honor and how he's issuing an open challenge to any Ring of Honor World Champion, Tag Team Champion, Pure Champion, Women's Champion, whatever. He wants to go through every champion of Ring of Honor and everything. And as Chris Jericho kept talking, Colt Cabana was revealed to be the former Ring of Honor champion to face Chris Jericho and everything. That was cool. That was before the match, by the way. And after the match, as the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, and Daniel Garcia, were celebrating Chris Jericho's victory, Ian Riccaboni was getting ready to stand up to Chris Jericho, but before he got the chance, Matt Menard and Angelo Parker of the Jericho Appreciation Society appeared from backstage and grabbed Ian Riccaboni and held him down, and as Matt Menard and Angelo Parker held Ian Riccaboni down, Chris Jericho took Ian Riccaboni's glasses off and put them on and then broke them, and then Chris Jericho slapped Ian Riccaboni in the face, and then Chris Jericho was getting ready to attack Ian Riccaboni, but Claudio Castagnoli came out and attacked Chris Jericho, but it was still a 5-on-1 situation, and Claudio Castagnoli was getting his ass beat, but then Bryan Danielson came out to even the odds a little bit, still got outnumbered. Sammy Guevara came out to side in with the Jericho Appreciation Society, so the numbers got bigger, and then Wheeler Yuta came out to the aid of Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson. So a brawl ensued between the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker, and the Blackpool Combat Club, which are Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. As the brawl was taking place, all the referees and the security and the coaches all came out to break up the brawl between the Jericho Appreciation Society and the Blackpool Combat Club and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. Match 4, it was Orange Cassidy versus Rey Fenix versus Luchasaurus in a 3-way match for the AEW All-Atlantic title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Orange Cassidy went over and retained the AEW All-Atlantic title with the Orange Punch. Match 4, it was Orange Cassidy versus Rey Fenix versus Luchasaurus in a 3-way match for the AEW All-Atlantic title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Orange Cassidy went over and retained the AEW All-Atlantic title cause Orange Cassidy pinned Rey Fenix with the Orange Punch. Now after the match, Pac came into the ring and attacked Orange Cassidy and was beating the shit out of him and everything, and then Katsuyori Shibata came out along with the Best Friends, which are Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, and Rocky Romero. Well, Katsuyori Shibata went down to the ring, while the Best Friends, which are Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, and Rocky Romero, went backstage while Katsuyori Shibata came down to the ring. Pac retreated, and as soon as Katsuyori Shibata came into the ring, Orange Cassidy got up and a stare down between Orange Cassidy and Katsuyori Shibata ensued, and Orange Cassidy handed Katsuyori Shibata a contract for a match for the AEW All-Atlantic title. Well, Katsuyori Shibata signed the contract, and it was official for AEW Rampage, Orange Cassidy versus Katsuyori Shibata for the AEW All-Atlantic title. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. Match 5, it was Jade Cargill versus Marina Shafir for the TBS Women's title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Jade Cargill went over and retained the TBS Women's title with the Jaded. Now, before the match, Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose came out and were doing their own commentary and everything for the match. That was cool. That was before the match, by the way. And after the match, Kiera Hogan tried to take the TBS Women's title from Nyla Rose, but Nyla Rose executed a clothesline to Kiera Hogan and laid her out, and then Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero went backstage, and Jade Cargill and Layla Gray came up to the stage, and Jade Cargill was pissed off at Kiera Hogan, so Jade Cargill ended up leaving to go backstage, and Layla Gray helped Kiera Hogan back up, and Kiera Hogan and Layla Gray went backstage as well, while Marina Shafir was laid out throughout the whole time and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. And match 6, which was the main event, it was Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage for the Ring of Honor television title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Samoa Joe went over and retained the Ring of Honor television title with the Coquina Clutch. Now, after the match, the Gates of Agony, which are Toa, Leona, and Khan, came out and attacked Samoa Joe and was beating the shit out of him. And, well, Brian Cage and Prince Nana joined in and was beating the shit out of Samoa Joe as well. And as that was going on, Wardlow came to the aid of Samoa Joe, and as Wardlow got into the ring, the Embassy, which are Prince Nana, Brian Cage, Toa, Leona, and Khan, retreated, and Wardlow and the Embassy were having a stare down with Wardlow, and as Wardlow was distracted, Powerhouse Hobbs came out, and Wardlow turned around, and as soon as Wardlow turned around, Powerhouse Hobbs executed the spine buster to Wardlow and laid him out, and as Wardlow was laid out from the spine buster from Powerhouse Hobbs held the AEW TNT title up high. Well, Samoa Joe was laid out throughout that whole time, by the way. Which all that was cool. And that was after the match, by the way, and that was match 6 and the main event, by the way. Now, besides the matches, Jon Moxley cut a promo talking about how Lee Moriarty was a talented individual and talking about how the Blackpool Combat Club were considering recruiting him, but he wasn't mean enough or nasty enough or anything, and talked about how tonight he was going to destroy Lee Moriarty and everything. That was cool. Renee Paquette interviewed Saraya. Well, Renee Paquette announced that Britt Baker was supposed to be there at the interview, but she didn't show up, so she was going to be interviewing Saraya. Well, Saraya was okay with that, and then Renee Paquette asked Saraya, after her injury the last time she competed, why did she decide to return, and why did she come back to, why did she decide to join AEW? Well, Saraya was talking about how wrestling is in her blood and how she wanted to come back and how AEW seemed like a cool place to work and everything. And Renee Paquette was asking Saraya if she was medically cleared to compete and everything. And Saraya said, "You know, Renee, I have to consult with one more doctor and everything." That was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed William Regal. Well, Tony Schiavone brought up about what happened to Jon Moxley last week on AEW Dynamite when the Firm, which are Stokely Hathaway, Lee Moriarty, Ethan Page, Colton Gunn, Austin Gunn, and W. Morrissey, did to both Jon Moxley and MJF last week. Well, William Regal was saying, William Regal was talking about how MJF has all the potential in the world, but he has to prove himself that it has to do more than what he's doing to become a true villain and everything. And William Regal was talking about how MJF's potential isn't going to get him far, and it's not going to get him anywhere going up against Jon Moxley, because William Regal was talking about how Jon Moxley was going to destroy MJF at Full Gear and retain the AEW title and everything. That was cool. Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, came out to the ring. Max Caster done a rap about Billy Gunn's birthday, and Anthony Bowens said his signature line, "Baltimore, the Acclaimed have arrived," and everything. And as soon as the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, along with Billy Gunn, got into the ring, Anthony Bowens was talking about how Swerve Strickland attacked Billy Gunn last week and damaged his fingers, and how Billy Gunn won't be able to do the scissor me thing, so him and Max Caster got Billy Gunn a Father's Day gift in the scissor me foam fingers. So Billy Gunn put on the scissor me foam fingers, and Anthony Bowens said, "Scissor me, daddy ass!" And so Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, were done the scissor me gesture. And well, Max Caster was talking about how Billy Gunn was the best father he ever had, and Anthony Bowens is talking about the same thing, and Max Caster and Anthony Bowens were rewarding Billy Gunn his birthday gifts, giving him a trophy of world's best daddy and world's greatest daddy, and all kinds of other shit. And then Anthony Bowens got a adoption sheet where him and Max Caster signed up against, signed the papers for Billy Gunn to be their father and everything. And as Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, are celebrating Billy Gunn's birthday, the Guns, which are Colton and Austin Gunn, came out, and Austin Gunn was on the microphone and said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. Where's our invite, Dad? I thought we were your sons." And Colton Gunn got on the microphone and said, "That's okay, Dad. You didn't invite us? That's fine and dandy. Since we're late for the party, I got a gift for you." So W. Morrissey came into the ring, and Billy Gunn turned around, and W. Morrissey attacked Billy Gunn with a big boot. And then the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, tried to attack W. Morrissey, but W. Morrissey laid the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, out with a double clothesline. And so the Guns, which are Colton and Austin Gunn, came into the ring, and started beating the shit out of the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, while W. Morrissey was beating the shit out of Billy Gunn. And as all that was going on, FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, came down to the ring. And as FTR got into the ring, the Firm, which are Colton Gunn, Austin Gunn, and W. Morrissey, retreated. And FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, picked up the AEW Tag Team titles. The Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, got up, and FTR gave the Acclaimed back the AEW Tag Team titles, and Billy Gunn got up too, and a stare down between FTR and the Acclaimed occurred while the Firm were looking on and everything. That was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed Team DMD, which are Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Well, Tony Schiavone was getting ready to speak, but Britt Baker said, "Look, I'll take it from here, Tony." Then Britt Baker was saying, "You know, I was supposed to go to an interview with Renee Paquette and Saraya, but no, I'm not joining that party. I am doing this on my time, on my terms, not on anybody else's." Then Jamie Hayter was saying, well, Britt Baker was talking about how she's been in conspiracy theories and AEW and everything, and then Jamie Hayter was saying, "You know what? I'm getting tired of these conspiracy theories. I just want to wrestle." Britt Baker said, "You know what? I want to wrestle too. So, how about it, Tony Khan? Let Jamie and I have a tag team match on Rampage and give us anybody you choose. Yours truly, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD," and everything. That was cool. Renee Paquette interviewed the Death Triangle, which are Ray Phoenix, Penta El Zero Renee Paquette interviewed the Death Triangle, which are Pac, Ray Phoenix, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Alex Abrahantes. Well, Renee Paquette brought up about Ray Phoenix going after the AEW All-Atlantic title and everything, and asked Ray Phoenix how will it feel to be a double champion. Well, Ray Phoenix was talking about how it's going to feel good and everything, and before Ray Phoenix could finish, Pac was saying, "Ray Phoenix, my friend, listen, amigo, I have been trying to teach you ways to win. Use this hammer. If you don't want to use this hammer, that's your prerogative, amigo. But I'm telling you right now, if you use this hammer, you will win the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. Because I know what it's like to be a double champion. So take it or leave it, Phoenix." So Pac ended up leaving, and Penta El Zero Miedo was saying to Renee Young, we need to talk alone. And so Renee Paquette left, and so the Lucha Brothers, which are Ray Phoenix and Penta El Zero Miedo, talked in private while Alex Abrahantes was there and everything as well. That was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed Swerve Strickland and Rick Ross. Well, Tony Schiavone brought up about Swerve Strickland attacking Billy Gunn and everything, and Rick Ross was saying, whoa, Tony Schiavone, let's keep this positive here. And Rick Ross was talking, Rick Ross was talking about how he was here to celebrate with Swerve Strickland and how he's trying to make Swerve Strickland into a rap hip-hop sensation and everything, and as Swerve Strickland and Rick Ross were celebrating, Keith Lee came by, and Keith Lee and Rick Ross shared an embracing moment together, and Keith Lee brought up about Swerve Strickland cheating to beat Billy Gunn, and how he cut Billy Gunn's, how he ruined Billy Gunn's hands and everything. And Rick Ross was saying, Keith, you're my brother, and I love you, but as I said to Mr. Tony Schiavone, let's keep this positive. And Keith Lee said, positive? I'll tell you positive. I'll show you positive. And so Keith Lee was going over positivity and everything, and Rick Ross called for and then Swerve Strickland was denying all those things that happened, and then Swerve Strickland proposed him and Keith Lee, which are Swerve and Our Glory, and the Guns, which are Colton and Austin Gunn, to go up against FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, and the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, next week on AEW Dynamite. Well, Rick Ross called for a celebration, so they all had some champagne, and Keith Lee, Tony Schiavone, Rick Ross, and Swerve and Our Glory, which are Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, all celebrated with champagne and everything. That was cool. I'm sorry. AEW aired a vignette of the build-up of the match between Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage for the Ring of Honor television title. That was cool. AEW aired a vignette of the House of Black, which are Malachi Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Julia Hart. Well, it showed that Julia Hart was burying Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, and then it also showed that the House of Black, which are Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, were resurrected from the dead and everything. That was cool. And AEW aired a vignette of the build-up of the match between Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter for the AEW Interim Women's title at AEW's pay-per-view event Full Gear on November 19th. That was cool. Now, besides all that, Tony Schiavone, Taz, and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. Ethan Page done guest commentary along with Tony Schiavone, Taz, and Excalibur during the match between Jon Moxley versus Lee Moriarty in an AEW title eliminator match. Ethan Page done great on guest commentary. Ian Riccaboni done guest commentary during the match between Chris Jericho versus Colt Cabana for the Ring of Honor World title. Ian Riccaboni done great on guest commentary, and Christian Cage done guest commentary during the match between Orange Cassidy versus Rey Fenix versus Luchasaurus in a three-way match for the AEW All-Atlantic title. Christian Cage done great on guest commentary. The referees for the event were Rick Knox, Paul Turner, Bryce Remsburg, Stephon Smith, and Aubrey Edwards. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Jay Lethal versus Darby Allin. Paul Turner refereed the match between Jon Moxley versus Lee Moriarty in the AEW the AEW title eliminator match. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Chris Jericho versus Colt Cabana for the Ring of Honor World title. Rick Knox refereed the match between Orange Cassidy versus Rey Fenix versus Luchasaurus in a three-way match for the AEW All-Atlantic title. Stephon Smith refereed the match between Jade Cargill versus Marina Shafir for the TBS Women's title. And Paul Turner refereed the match between Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage for the Ring of Honor television title. All the referees done awesome as usual. Now, the match card that's been announced for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite Wednesday night, it's going to be FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, and The Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, versus Swerve and Our Glory, which are Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, and The Guns, which are Colton and Austin Gunn. So the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite Wednesday night that's been announced so far looks like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, I'm not going to go over the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage because that already happened last night. So I'm not going to go over the match card for that because I have yet to watch it. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite from 3 nights ago, which was November 2nd, 2022. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your fucking ass down the goddamn road. Peace out.